Okay. Okay, you can start it now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the time, sir. I would make it faster because there are several groups that will be present today. So we start from our group first. From the fourth group, we will present our research proposal entitled Refusal as Social Speech Act and Evidence of Social as Natural Science Students. So our group member consists of me, myself, Nadia Aulia Putri, and my friend Roma Uli Rizlia Simanjuntak, and the last Titik Puspitasari. Okay, next, we start from the research objective. So for the first, we have two research objectives. The first one is to know the kinds of refusal strategy employed by social and natural science students. And the second one is to analyze the factor that influence the production of refusal strategy by social and natural science students. So for the first research objective, we would like to know how the social student and natural science student employ refusal strategy with the seed that we give to them, and then we analyze the factor that influence the production of refusal strategy from the questionnaire that we have give to them. And the next, for research question, the first is what kind of refusal strategy are employed by social and natural science students? And the second one is what are the factors that influence the production of the refusal strategy? And for the next, in the literature review, that will be presented by my friend Uli. Time is yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Mbak Nadia, for the time. Now let's move on to literature review that can be said as the foundation or the theory that can support our research here, everyone. There are several indicators about it. The first one is stated by Saud on 2019. He said that communication happens because of some purposes which can be different by linguistic expression in performing speech acts, such requesting, refusing, greeting, thanking, apologizing, inviting, or giving orders. So there are some kind of speech act that can be performed in communication, yeah, everyone, including refusing. Yeah. However, this research we're gonna focus on the refusal because refusal becomes one of the most complex speech act to perform. It is stated by Umale on 2011. As one of the most complex speech act. It's because refusal includes one of the main points to avoid their feelings are not being heard like that. Therefore, to implement that, they need to implement the strategy, which can be consist of three forms. It is stated by DB et al. On 1990. They have direct, indirect, and adjunct strategies. As we know, yeah, everyone, direct, it means that we directly say no to to some responses, or we can say, or we can use like some performative verbs, yeah. For example, like I refuse to talk with you, like that. And then indirect, it means that we have an excuse to refuse that response. And then for adjunct, it means that we before we refuse, yeah, everyone, we need to bring some empathy before we refuse those responses. Like that. It is stated by DB et al. On 1990. Next. Next is about statement by Umale on 2011. So refusal strategies can be caused by socio-cultural factors such gender, age difference, social status, academic level, topic of the conversation, and surroundings. So it can be said that everyone, although all languages, including English, have their own way to refuse some responses. The factors behind that can be French. Yeah, it is stated by Umale. So it actually depends on the culture factors or social factors, like that. Next. Here's some previous studies that can be said as our support, that can be said as the support of our research, which is one is from Rahayu in 2019. So the methodology is qualitative, and the instrument she used is DCT, discourse completion test, and it's about comparing 3 different groups, yeah, everyone, which is Indonesian EFL learners, or you could say it as ELs, and Indonesian native speakers and American native speakers. So the findings are stated about that the American native speakers can be most using direct strategies to refuse some things. Meanwhile, for the other ones, which is EFL, Indonesian EFL learners, and also Indonesian native speakers, are more using indirect strategies. It is supported by the cultural factors, yeah, everyone. As we know that, you know, Western people are more direct to refuse something, meanwhile for us, Indonesians are more polite to about refusing. And for the second one is from Kadi on 2021. So this research is using quantitative and also using DCT as the instrument, and it's about investigating 409 Saudi EFL students. And the findings are mostly from the participants are agreed to using indirect, and it followed by a chance, and then the last strategies that they use is direct strategies, yeah, everyone. From this, we can know that most of them are using indirect because they also affect about the culture of the Saudi, Arab Saudi culture, yeah, everyone, because there is a statement from the research that Arab cultures can be stated that how can I say, yeah, that the cultures are saying that the people who refuse someone is can be said as impolite people, is disrespectful people. So that is why they are more using indirect strategies to refuse someone or something. And then the third one is Shahi on 2022. It also using quantitative and DCT also as the instrument, and it's about investigating 120 Iranian EFL students. So these participants are divided into genders, yeah, everyone. It is males and also females, and the findings say that the males to be more direct than females. So that's why from this research, everyone, we can say that gender can be mentioned as the factor that affected their refusal strategies. Next. So here is the research gap that we found. Since the previous study found the refusal strategies based on the gender and the cultural differences, this current study will focus on the comparison of the students' study backgrounds. So this can be viewed on students' surrounding, everyone's surrounding in education background, where it may influence their strategies in refusing some responses. And it will be explained later in methodology by Mbak Titi. That's all from me. Thank you. Next.
All right. Thank you, Uli. I hope that everyone can listen to my voice clearly because somehow I got a little problem with the internet connections. Well, here is the methodology of the research. Our research is dealing with refusal strategies, and the title say that this is going to be an evidence from social and also natural science students. So the participants are here is OMM ESP learners,
Why we choose ESP? Because we don't have any EMI classes in natural science or social science studies yet in OMM. So students will only use the English in their ESP class. From a very broad context, which is OMM, we come to the specific one: 15 students from natural science and 15 students from social science. Then the total will be 30 students. The data will be collected through use an DCT, discourse completion text questionnaire, and also interview. This DCT here will be designed in written one, so they will complete a questionnaire. Then me and Uli and also Nadia will provide about 9 situations related to refusal strategies that they will face in their class. For example, like when the lecturer asks to change the schedule, when the lecturer gives them a very close deadline, and so on. And after gathering the data from the discourse completion test, we will done a follow-up interview related to it. And the data will be analyzed in 2 ways. The DCT one will be analyzed by using the taxonomy of refusal developed by Takashi and Vivi. And then the interview will be analyzed and coded using Miles and Haberman's model. And here, to be more specific, the natural science students are actually taken from civil engineering students, while we are, as a researcher, we still try to find the more natural science like biology class and other class. But for the convenience one, we still get the opportunity to do it in the civil engineering. Well, civil engineering is not that natural science. Engineering is a branch of science, but not really come to the natural science one. And for the social science students, we're going to use law departments. The reasons of choosing those 2 departments to be representative of natural and social science is because of the convenience of the researchers, like the access we have to the students itself. And then students here have the same level of English. It is taken from their result of type. We have a kind of English proficiency test in the UMM, and the test is done when students finish their enrollment program. So before they start joining the first semester, they need to pass that kind of test first. We choose the intermediate students so that they will it will be easier for the participants to do the written discourse completion tests. That's the methodology, which cover participants, data collection, and also data analysis. And here, here is the timeline, like what we're gonna do in the following weeks until the submissions day. We're still working on the completions of the proposal, and also we're still working on developing the DCT and also the interview guidelines. Next, please.
So in the week 9, we will completing the research proposal, and in the week 10, we will try to collect the data from. We will try to prepare the data before we come to UMM. Maybe we can ask the permission first before taking the data, and then in the week 11, we will take the data from UMM using G form maybe, or something like that. And for the week 12, we will try to analyze the data, and from week 13 up to week 15, we will working on the paper. We complete all the paper. We must to analyze the data and then collected the data, and then we write down in the paper. And in the week 16, inshallah, we will submit and present it in the final project. Okay, that's all from our group. Any question?
I have a question, just a quick questions. Do you think Miles and Huberman's steps in analyzing and collecting data would be suitable to be used in your analysis? Because you're using, I mean, like, this is like pure linguistics analysis rather than education research. What do you think?
Yes, so we're actually still looking for the proper models for our research, but here the context is actually in the classroom, and well, in our in the way we are looking for it, like other research analyze it more into the politeness and so on and so on. So we're still trying to find the one that actually analyze the result of the interview related to the review so far. So maybe if there is specific models that we can do, so other than this one.
Later on, we will discuss it. Any other questions, everyone? Thank you, Titi. Any other question? What about the interview? How many students will be interviewed, and what is the difference between the interview and the DCT?
Okay, so since the DCT is open-ended, and students will only provide like their statement related to the scenario we have, the interview will elaborate more about the factors, like why do they answer that way, which actually are not provided in the DCT. And how many students will attend the interview? The interview will actually ask for their willingness first, but we hope that maybe half of the students from each studies will be willing to be interviewed.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Titi, Nadia, and Uli. So I would like to ask our friends Nanang, Septi, and Zaki to provide assessments for them. Right. While you guys giving assessments to those three presenters, thank you so much. And then we will move on to the next presenters. Mungkin ada yang mau volunteer untuk yang kedua ini.
Yes.
Group 2. Oke. Baik, group 2 ada NJ, terus kemudian Rania and Sofa. So I would like to ask Nurul Ilmi Mufidah, Wahyu Nur Aziza, and Winnie to provide feedback. Jadi Nurul nanti akan memberi feedback NJ, Wahyu Nur Aziza memberi feedback Rania, and Winnie memberi feedback Sofa. Tiga-tiganya ada yang peer assessor-nya?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Good. Thank you so much. So NJ, Rania, and Safa, you will have 15 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh.
good.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. So we are from group 2, and we are going to present our mini research proposal, and the title is Exploring the speech acts of teachers' corrective feedback in EFL thesis writing classroom. And our group members are NJ, Rania, and Sofa. Okay, next. And here are the table of contents of today's presentation. The first is research aim, literature review, research question, methodology, research timeline, and bibliography. Next. And first, so this is our research aims of our research plan, which is to investigate the speech acts of giving corrective feedback employed by the lecturer. And next, and for the literature review, next, so corrective feedback, or CF, has been one of the most influential aspects of writing class. And here we found that several studies have revealed the benefits of CF, which is, the first is it helps students to correct errors, and it improves L2 written grammatical accuracy. It allows both teachers and students to clear up any confusion, and it contributes to reducing student anxiety and increasing their motivations in writing. And considering the extensive benefits of CF or corrective feedback, this study have the interest to explore the speech acts of corrective feedback to know and to classify which type of corrective feedback that is successful and effective to be given to students. Next, and the next will be presented by NJ. NJ?
Okay, do you hear me? Sorry, I'm mute. Okay. So I will continue the part related to, related to the previous study. Well, as you can see on the screen, we have several previous studies that is discussed related to the speech act by the teacher itself. So first one, 2013, he reported that a semester-long training where students engage in communicative tasks and practice giving and receiving peer feedback, they were significantly feel more positive about the CF. So in here, they are positive related to the CF or corrective feedback that was given by the teachers. So they were more tend to understand when the teacher given the corrective feedback itself. The second one also followed by the positive one, that is by Trabelsi 2019, in which students perceive their teacher feedback as timely, involving a variety of techniques, sufficient, efficient, clear, explicit, familiar to them, and comprehensive. So teachers' corrective feedback benefits the students because it involves a variety of techniques, efficient, clear statement by the teacher because it is in oral and something like that. Well, followed by the Lee 2010 revealed that explicit feedback, so this is talk about the explicit feedback, demonstrate larger immediate effects than implicit feedback. So explicit is more better than implicit based on Lee 2010, but the effects of implicit feedback were more sustainable because explicit is more spontaneous, so it's like lifetime, so it's better for students to catch the point at that time, while for the implicit one it benefits in the terms of sustainable. So despite all that, as continue from Lee 2010 from the research, so his study is also revealed that students sometimes faced some challenges in understanding the teacher's their teacher's comments. So from here, we've got the gap because we are interested in exploring more related to the lectures. We have point of view of lectures, speech acts in giving the corrective feedback itself. Okay, so related to the research questions coming from that gap, so that's why we have these research questions. That is, what are the corrective feedback patterns used by the lecturer in the thesis writing class? So we have specific settings in which the thesis writing class in the classroom of thesis writing. So the methodology will be continued by Mbak Sofa. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will try to explain about the methodology in our research. Next slide, please. So the data collected for our research is from the lecturer talk. So we will try to record the lecturer talk during the class. And then the research setting is in our thesis writing class that is conducted every Wednesday. And then the next slide, please. And then our participant will be one lecturer who teach the thesis seminar proposal, and then 2 students that taking the course. And then next one. The data collection will be from the recording from the lecturer talk during the thesis writing class session. So we will try to record the teacher talks during the class. And then we will also interview the student for peer seeking and understanding their perception dealing with the corrective feedback given by the lecturer. Next one. And then the data analysis here, we try to analyze the data in our that we got from the recording using the critical discourse analysis, and then we will use the framework from the Takasahi and Bebes in 1993 about types of corrective feedback, and it will be 6 classification of corrective feedback that we will use to analyze the data in our research. And then next one. We will also have the practical consideration dealing with our research. For the first, the feasibility. So we think that the research conduct since we as the researcher attend the same class, that is thesis, seminar, proposal, so it will be easier for us to collect the data or to record the lecturer talks during the class. And then also it is easy for us, the student, taking the course. And then the challenges, we also consider about the challenges that we will face in our research. For the first is the consideration here. So it deals with the lecturer permission or acceptance in whether he want to be a participant or not in our participant, something like that. And then the next one is the student role. The student role in our research is giving their perception during the corrective feedback given. So there will be a possibility that they will have anxiety dealing with that, since there is a or imbalance power between the lecturer and students. Kind of challenges, we will try to explore about the ethical consideration, the participant identity, for example, like we will try to name to save all the data from our research in a secure place, and it will be not leaked to the third party, so something like that. And then the next one about the research timeline will be explained by NJ.
Okay. We come to the research timeline. So here is the research timeline. Well, actually, we have done the first week. That is the lecture talk recording in the 8th of March, in Wednesday, in the thesis writing classroom. Well, for the second week, the week 2 will be conducted in the 15th of March. That's still related to, we are recording the lectures talk while giving the corrective feedback. And for the week 3, in Friday to 24th of March, we will try to transcribing the recording. As well, we will analyzing the data from the transcribing itself. And jump to the week 4, in which in Friday, 31st of March, we will interview the students, and also because we need to peer checking, confirming the analysis itself. So this is our timeline. Okay, so here's our bibliography. It consists of several, and that's it. Thank you. Maybe any questions or suggestions?
Thank you, everyone. We still have 5 minutes. Let me know if you just ask a question if you have. Okay, Tanti.
Okay, thank you so much for the group 2 for presenting their my question is, what kind of corrective feedbacks, what kind of the data of the corrective feedbacks that you are expected? And also the second one is related to the lecture talk. Why did you choose or decide only having 2 sessions of the recordings that have been mentioned in the timeline? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tanti, for the question. So for the first is about our model of analysis, something that we expect to get in our research. So this is
the framework from Takasahi that we will adapt. So we will try to classify the data from the recording into 6, that is direct, partially direct, softener, question, and others. Maybe scroll down to the, yeah. As you can see here, we expect there is several classification of corrective feedback. For example, like softener, I believe, I think, you may have, so something like that. It is more softened, and also something like direct. Oh, you are wrong. So something like that. So it is about the corrective feedback. Yeah, and we will try to classify it into 6. And then, for example, like a question, did you say that it is? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we have a framework dealing with that. Is it clear or? Yeah.
Yeah, it's answer my question.
And then the second question, why we try to have only two recording, because we have also Pak Nanang also suggested us that it is okay to do 1 or 2 recording, because one as long as we have the rich data from it. So as we try to see it first, yeah, for the data.
Okay,
So
maybe I would like
during
to add.
those 2 weeks, we are going to see whether the data that have been gathered are rich enough or not. And if it's already rich enough, then we will stop and start analyzing. But if we still need more data, then we may add 1 more week or 2 more weeks for that. So
Okay.
this is like our initial plan.
Okay, maybe I would like to add something, yeah, because for example, in week 1, we have 2 participants. So there's not just one. Then for first week, we have 2. And also for the second week, we have 2 participants also that will be have that correction feedback. So maybe it implicitly have 4. Yeah, because there is 4 participants in that presentation. So for sure, it will have 4 CF or corrective feedback.
All right, thank you.
Any other question? All right, so it will be oral corrective feedback. So not corrective feedback in general, but then oral corrective feedback. In
Yes.
general, feedback can be divided into, for example, written corrective feedback or oral corrective feedback. You select the oral corrective feedback. And then if you choose to, probably, do you consider using, case study, comparing one student with another one, or how do you plan to do that?
Yes, sir. We are plan to. So in 1 week, in one session of thesis writing class, usually we have 2 students presenting, and the lecturer will give feedback from that. And after that, after we get from the first session, we get this data, and then we analyze, and then we ask the students who are given the feedback for peer checking. And then after that, we compare it to other students who are not given the feedback, like the audience, to see, like to compare it whether they have the similar understandings or not, and to see which corrective feedback that are effective to be given to the students.
Okay, thank you so much. It's already 15 minutes. Thank you so much for group 2. So I would like to ask Nurul Ilmi, Wahyu, and we need to provide feedback to NJ, Rania, and Sofa. Okay, so we have 2 groups already, and then we still have other groups, like okay, we have 8 group actually. So which group next? Anyone?
Third group, sir.
Which one?
Group 1. Third group.
Okay, group 1. Okay, we will do with the group 1 first. Okay, so with the group 1, we have Salsa, Ani, and Iva. Then I would like to ask Nadia, Uli and Titi to provide feedback. Nadia will provide feedback to, provide assessment to Salsa. Uli will assess Ani, and then Titi will assess Eva. So you guys can prepare your presentation first. Okay. Try this screen sharing.
I know itu di introduction itu bahas perbandingan kayak sama previous study yang
Novel.
di Pak Yazid itu sih. Terus nanti di literature review baru yang sama yang tentang teori. Tapi ini
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's start it.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, please.
All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, class. Thank you so much for the challenge. And here we are from the first group are going to present our proposed title entitled Investigating the Belief, Knowledge, and also Reported Practices of Non-Native EFL Teachers in Teaching Pragmatics. Next. So this is our team, and you have heard it before, so we can go to the next slide. So the aim and the objective of conducting this research is to explore the beliefs, the knowledge, and also the reported practices of Indonesian EFL teachers in teaching pragmatics. About the previous studies, there are various previous studies talking about the beliefs only, the knowledge only, or even the practice only about the knowledge about the teaching EFL teachers in teaching pragmatics, but there are also some studies that integrate them both, integrate them, three of them. And one of them is a study conducted by Bo, and the findings we do not have the belief that teaching pragmatics should be started from the early. So they didn't have the belief. It is important to be taught, and it is in line with the knowledge that the Vietnamese teacher have, that the Vietnamese teacher did not know how to teach pragmatics because they lacked the pragmatics knowledge. So in this first previous study, we have 2 points that we can get. So the first one, the belief is low, and also the pragmatics knowledge is also low. The second one, this second previous study provide that in Japanese EFL teachers did not have the belief to teach the pragmatics from the early stage. So regarding their thoughts on the importance of teaching pragmatics is low, and also the knowledge in teaching pragmatics also low. However, they said that they already taught it without being aware that they were doing so. They taught the pragmatics without knowing that it is pragmatics due to their lack of knowledge. Third one. The third one is in the third previous studies is on the Vietnamese again, but different context. This indicates that the teachers had a high belief in importance of teaching pragmatics and also showed a good or a high knowledge in teaching pragmatics. However, they still integrated a little portion of teaching pragmatics in the classroom. Next one. For this one, located in Greece, the Greek teachers only understood about theoretical notion of pragmatics, indicated that their knowledge is low, and they had the belief that it is important for the students to learn about pragmatics from early stage, but the portion of pragmatic teaching in their classroom was small. Next one. For this one, the context is in Korea. The EFL Korea teachers believe that pragmatics is important for the students and had macro knowledge about pragmatics, and the limited source made them unable to teach pragmatics as much as possible. Okay, we can skip this. So from those previous studies, we see that the pattern of the belief, the knowledge, and also the practice of EFL teachers in teaching pragmatics do not always in line. Like one research resulted different from another, and it becomes our question whether we can have the same findings in Asia. And because those previous studies showed different results, we may see that, oh, this cannot be applied the same. Like we cannot, how to say it? We cannot see that Indonesia has the same things based on those results. And the pragmatic research focusing on belief, knowledge, and also reported practice of Indonesian EFL teachers are still under study. Next one. This is the research questions. What is the Indonesian EFL teachers' knowledge about the pragmatics and the teaching of L2 pragmatics? And the second one, what are the Indonesian EFL teachers' beliefs about the importance of teaching pragmatics in the classroom? And the third one, what are the teachers' reported practices in teaching pragmatics in the L2 classroom? And we're going to the next slide. It's about the methodology, and it will be explained by Satriani.
Iva.
Yeah. Sorry, for the methodology will be presented by me. Okay. Okay, the next is methodology. So in order to gain insight to non-native teachers' beliefs, non-native teachers' knowledge, and the practice in teaching pragmatics, the study collected qualitative method and using semi-structured interview here. Yeah, next. Yeah. For the research instrument here, we use interview guidelines. And for the instrument used in this study will be a semi-structured interview to gain more deeper information about the teacher's belief, teacher's knowledge, and reported practices in teaching pragmatics in the classroom. And then the interview will be conducted face-to-face and will take approximately from 30 to 40 minutes. And then the questions asked focused on eliciting information regarding the teacher's beliefs, the teacher's knowledge, and then the teacher's practice in teaching pragmatics in the classroom. Yeah, next. Okay, so for the next is participants that we are going to take in the, we are going to take to conduct this research, and this part will be presented by Mbak Satriani. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, sir and friends. I off cam my camera because something trouble with my camera. Okay, for the participants, our participants will be 10 non-native EFL teachers that is chosen by using a purposive sampling method. And then this EFL teachers who are working in public and private schools in secondary level education. And then the data analysis, we will use thematic analysis, which is proposed by Brown and Clark, 2006. And for the schedule, here is our schedule. Week 9, we will adopt interview guidelines. And then week 10 until 13, we will do the interview. And then week 14, we will do the data analysis. And then week 15, we will write the article. And then the last step is week 16 will be final review. Okay, that's all for our schedule. And this is our bibliography. Yes, that's all from our group. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. We still have 5 minutes. Any question?
Again, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, in what level of teachers are you going to conduct your research?
In secondary level schools, in junior high school and higher school, senior high school. Panana.
In junior, senior?
Yeah, in secondary level of education.
In secondary level.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that your instrument in that is interview is enough to elaborate your research, your 3 research questions? Why you do not take the instrument like observation, something like that?
Okay, so since our participants, just 10 participants, we think that conducting an interview is enough to gain more deeper information about the data. Maybe my other friend can add additional information.
Yes, Mbak Nanang, just like what Mbak Ani said, we chose 10 participants, and since the number is not that huge, so we decided to go to semi-instructor interview, semi-interview method and semi-structured interview method. And for the observations, for now, we haven't planned to have any real observations coming right into the class, but because we stated that we will have the reported practice. So it is reported only by interviewing the teachers.
Hey, I have another question. So your goal is to basically understand whether the teacher's knowledge, belief, and practice of pragmatics are in line or not. How do you examine whether the practice is in line with other or not?
All right, I will try to answer the question. Yes, our goal is to see what are the beliefs, the knowledge, and also the reported practice of the EFL teachers in teaching pragmatics. We can see from the belief is focusing on whether the teachers see teaching pragmatics in secondary school as important or not. And after that, based on the result, if the expected results or the hypothesis will be, the expected result will be yes, for example, if the result is yes, so you know, will be high too, because the teacher's belief and also the teacher's knowledge later will contribute to how the teachers teach in the classroom, it's based on Shihara and Kohen. And so as a result, if they have both the knowledge and also the belief, the expected result of the practice is they implement the pragmatics teaching in their classroom.
Okay, so you still need to observe their practice of teaching or not?
No, for now is no, it is enough from the reported practice. However, it doesn't close the opportunity for us to come into some of the interviewees if we think that the data gained is not enough by reported practice.
Okay, we still have about 30 seconds. One last questions. What do you mean by the purposive sampling in this qualitative study, and how do you purposively do the sampling thing?
Maybe my friends wants to answer. No?
Okay, so we choose the participants by using purposive sampling because we have several criteria for that participant. For example, EFL teachers and in secondary level of education. So we have the criteria and we have these participants in our classrooms. So we have 10 participants that meet the criteria. So we choose 10 of them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Salsa, Ani, and Ifa. And I would like to ask Nadia, Uli, and Titi to provide assessments to these three presenters. All right, well done, everyone. Next is group 3. I think group 3 suggests that they want to present first. Novel and Rosie and Yulan. And I would like to ask Nila to assess Novel, Riris to assess Rosiani, and Tanti to assess Yulan. Okay, so you guys can prepare your slides.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay, so you can start when you're ready.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from group 3. So we will conduct a future research in Pragmatics entitled Exploring the Use of Politeness Strategies in ELA Classroom Context, a study in doctoral degree program. So, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, so here are the group members. First is me, Novila Batikasari, my friend Siti Rosiani Kholisa, and Yolan Perrin will present right now. Next is, so here is the overview. First, we would like to talk about aims and objectives. Second is literature review. Third is research questions and hypothesis. Fourth is methodology. Fifth is timetable. And last is bibliography. So we start with the introduction. So in here, I would like to tell you about politeness is relevant and important in education, such as in classroom teaching and learning practice. During the teaching and learning process, the teacher used many utterances to communicate with the students, which show politeness strategy. So in here, we have two keywords, which are politeness and politeness strategy. We go to the next. So based on Widyanda et al. 2018, considering the politeness, it is consists of strategy to make the politeness appropriate in a situation of communication among students and teacher. In a definite community like classroom, politeness is needed to be implemented since rudeness creates conflict between teacher and students. So we go to the aim of this research. So the study aims to explore the use of politeness strategies which occur in doctorate degree classroom in the English language education. Next, we go to the literature review will be explained by Kalisa.
Okay, thank you, Novel. Well, in the first slide, we already mentioned about introduction as well as the aim of our study, which talk about the two main topic or two main terms in regarding to our research title. The first is about politeness, and the second is about politeness strategies. As you can see here, politeness is the practical application of good manners or etiquette so as not to offend others. It also explained by several experts here, and I will explain in the next slide. And the second is politeness strategies, which is a strategy that aims to show polite behavior when communicating with others. And we start for the first is we talk about the politeness. Next, please. Novel. Okay, thank you. So yeah, there are several experts here consist of Holmes, Watts, Ewell, and Brown and Levinson. Okay, so Holmes stated that politeness is as a behavior that occurs in society to make people respect one another and reduce the possibility of conflict. So in Holmes, we can get the keyword is to respect one another and reduce conflict. From Watts, from Ewell in 1996, we can see that politeness is used to show cognition of other people's face. And terms of face, I will explain it after this. And also Watts, 2003, it is politeness used to develop a good relationship among members of the society. In here, Brown and Levinson in 1987 is the most prominent theory regarding to the politeness, and which called as the Brown-Levinson face-saving view. The central idea of this theory is the notion of face. Okay, next, regarding to the politeness of the strategy, like I said before, next. Okay, like I said before, politeness strategy is a strategy that aims to show polite behavior and communicating with others. Here's there are several strategies that explained by some experts, and in this study we are going to conduct with the framework of Brown and Levinson. Yeah. In the previous slides, I mentioned that terms of face. So actually, what is face here? Politeness strategies are developed in order to save the hearer's face. Face means here refers to the respect that an individual has for him or herself and maintaining that self-esteem. Yeah. And for example, in a simple example, usually we try to avoid embracing the other person or making the other people uncomfortable. Means that they believe that within a person occurs positive and negative face. And the urge of a person to be respected and appreciated in social interaction is defined as positive face, while negative phase is the freedom of action that is needed by them. So therefore, Brown and Levinson propose strategies which the goal is to maintain the face of the hearers. And in this study, according to Brown and Levinson, there are 4 strategies, namely ball on record, positive politeness, negative politeness, and off-record strategy. Next, I'll explain the 4 of them, and the first is ball on record. It is used to convey information or message directly to the hearer. For example, like the statement, "Close your mouth when you eat. You swine." I'm sorry to say swine. It means like harsh words. Yeah. And then the second strategy is a positive politeness. It is addressed to enhance the hearer's positive face. For example, like, "You have such a beautiful teeth. I just wish I didn't see them when you eat." Yeah, positive politeness. And then the third is negative politeness.
The strategy aims to reduce the interference with the hearer's freedom of actions. And then the fourth is off-record strategy, means that it's enable the speaker to perform FTA indirectly. Yeah. That's all for the Brown and Levinson's framework. And we come to the previous studies. We'll explain by Novel.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Lisa. So we go to the previous studies. So in here, I would like to tell you about I would like to tell you that politeness strategies can occur in a lot of settings. So in here, the research conducted by Ambarwati et al. 2019 and Jennifer and Tanto 2018, that politeness strategies also occur in the social media platform. So for the for the Jennifer and Tanto had investigated the politeness phenomena in the text messages between people from different ranking power status, while Ambarwati investigated the politeness strategy used in the Facebook interactions posted by women. So both findings show that in the written form, politeness strategy also occurred. Next, we go to the Widyatnya et al. 2018 research, which investigated the implication of politeness strategy used in the classroom interaction. So in here, I wrote that the participant is SMK Nusa Dua students and 2 English teachers. So the research showed that the use of politeness strategies in the classroom interaction imply positive results. For instance, it could create effective communication between teacher and student, which contain respect value, improve the interaction, and lessen the interference in their communication. The next one is the study from Peng et al. 2014. So actually, this is only see in the teacher point of view. So this study conduct this researcher conduct a research aiming to reveal how the teacher applies politeness strategies to his teaching practice in the language used. Through the case study, we noticed that his classroom language is full of witty humor. So actually, witty humor is also one of the theory from Brown and Levinson that will be used by us as well. Next is the research question will be explained by Yolanda.
Okay, as what Novelia and also Lisha explained before, we find the gap that this kind of study in the setting of doctoral degree programs is still underexplored. So that's why we choose this setting for our study. And also the reason why we choose the doctoral programs, the doctoral degree programs, is that because as we know that many of the students in doctoral degree programs are teachings in other university as the lecturer, and of course they expect like the politeness strategy from their students, and we as the researchers are wondering whether they can implement this kind of politeness strategy in the classroom when they becomes the students, not the lecturers. Like that. And here is the research question: how can the politeness strategies occur in the ELE classroom of the doctoral degree program? Okay, let's move to the next slide. Yep. Okay. The methodology for our study is the qualitative research, and we are going to have the observations and the interview in collecting the data. In the observation, we collect the data by observing the conversation and the utterances that occur in the classroom. It can be from the students and the lecturers, or it can be from this between the students. And the instrument that we will use is the field notes. And after that, we are going to have the interview, which we will use semi-structured interview with the lecturers, in order to have the confirmations related to the politeness strategy. Okay, please move to the next slide. Here are the procedures. We are going to collect the data by observation and interview, as I mentioned before. And then the participants is students and lecturers in doctoral program, which is in the dissertations proposal, dissertations proposal seminar class. Why we choose this class? Because in this class, the activity will there are so many presentation activity in the classroom, and the conversation between the lecturers and the students will occur, and the conversation between students will occur, and then during the activity there are so many kind of asking and answer section, and also giving suggestion and etc. like that. And after we have the data, we will do coding in data analysis coding, and then the data is in the form of the occurrence. And after that, after we have some code codes for the relevant occurrence, we will interpret the data, and then will interpret the data based on the framework from Brown and Levinson 1987. Okay. Please move to the next slide. Here are our timetable. It started in Tuesday, March 7, 2023. We did topic discussion outlining the research. And then yesterday, which is Thursday, March 9, 2023, we prepared the research proposal. And after that, in Friday, today, which is today, we present the research proposal. And the third week of April, third week of March until the second week of April, we are going to collect the data. Of course, before we collect the data, we should ask permissions with the lecturers first. And then we are going to analyze the data in the third week in April. And in April, we are going to submit the abstract to journal or conference, and the last one is present the final paper during final weeks for final exam. Okay, I think that's all for from us. If there any question, please. Okay. Oh yeah, here is our bibliography. As you can see here, the sources that we use for conducting this study.
Okay, thank you so much. So we still have 1 minute. Anyone having question? Yes, Salsa.
Thank you for the chance. I'm sorry that I have to turn my camera off. I would like to ask about your research question. If I'm not mistaken, it was how can blah 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 blah, and I forgot. I don't really remember the rest. My question is, why do you put can in the research question? Thank you.
For the slide. Okay, research questions. Wait, let me show you. And this one. This one.
Yes, that one.
Yep.
Okay, I will repeat my question again. Why do you put can in the research question? Like, how can politeness strategies occur in the ELA classroom instead of how the politeness strategies occur in the LA classroom?
Okay, I think this one like a mistyping, yeah. I mean that it should be how politeness strategy occur, yes, because we want to observe the phenomenon, and how can this kind of politeness strategies occur? So it just a little mistakes that I did for stating the research question. Salsa, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. You can also change it, like, for example, how, and then followed by your subject. how the doctoral degree, LA doctoral degree students implement or use politeness strategies in blah, 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 for example. That would be more straightforward in English sense. Okay. Thank you so much, Novel, Lisa, and Yulan. And I would like to ask Nila, Riris, and Tanti to provide assessments to each presenter. Okay, good. So we already have four teams, and then we still have another four. We have group 5, group 6, group 7, and 8. Anyone wants to volunteer for the next one?
Group 5, sir.
Okay, group 5, are you ready? You can prepare your slides. Group 5 are, just a second. Group 5 are Nurul Ilmi Mufidah, Wahyu Nur Aziza, and Winnie Ranti. And I would like to ask Salsa, Ani, and Eva to provide assessments to each presenter. Okay. Okay. So you guys can start when you're ready.
Okay. Can you hear me, please, guys? Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, today's opportunity, we are from group 5. We would like to present about our proposal, and the title is the use of pillar words in oral EFL learner presentation. Next. And this is our team, Nurul Ilmi Mufidah, Wahyu Nur Aziza, and the last is me, Winnie Ranti. Next. Okay, in today's good opportunity, we would like to talk about background, literature review, methodology, timetable, and references. Next. And the first one is background and will be delivered by me. This is our background and context. We know that in Indonesia context, English is a foreign language and it's only learned at school. So sometimes people have problems when they communicate or interact with the others, and they will try to find a strategy to achieve communication goals. Actually, there are several strategies created by the speaker, like gaining time. It's like pillars and repeats and etc. Actually, pillars play a crucial role in communication tactics, such as filling pause, example like or self-correcting like I mean, and etc. So there are some several studies conducted about this research. It's about pillars, but there has been a research that examines the use of pillars spoken by Indonesia students when speaking casually or when they presentations in English class. So students don't realize when and how to use pillars when they communicate. So therefore, we as researchers are interested in research the use of pillars in context of EFL in English class. Next. The next is about gaps in existing controversies. Actually, the gap is there is no research that examines the use of pillars spoken by Indonesian students when making presentation in English class. Actually, there are some research talk about pillars, but this research are investigating the use of pillar in Valentino Rossi's speech, like Barack Obama's speech, or Agnes Monica's speech, or something like that. And next. Okay, the next is a research question. The first is, what type of pillars occur in oral presentations of Indonesian EFL learners? So we would like to know about types of pillars in oral presentations. And the second one is, what pictures affect the learner affected in using pillars in oral presentation? So we would like to know about pictures affect of pillars in oral presentation in English class presentation. Okay, next. The next is about literature review that will be delivered by Mimi. Mimi, time's yours.
Okay, thank you for the time, Winnie. I'll continue to the literature review, but before to the literature review, I have to tell you about the theories about the filler in pragmatic. And please next. Okay, the key concept here is the pragmatic and filler word. Okay, next. From the pragmatic itself, there are a lot of studies covered by pragmatics, such as discourse analysis, speech error, false start, silent pause, and fillers. It's stated by Fatur Rahman. So that's why here in this study we will do a research about the filler word itself that's used by a student in oral presentation. Okay, filler word itself is related to the theory of pragmatic noise by that's stated by Culpeper and Kyoto in 2010. That stated pragmatic noise refer to a heterogeneous class of items that including interjection, laugh, and pause fillers. And the noise, pragmatic noise itself is the lack of proportional and referential meanings, but they have a pragmatic or discursial meaning. And another scholar that as Clark and Fox refers the name of noise, pragmatic noise itself as filler. Okay, next. Okay. Filler's word itself is a lexical empty item which uncertain discourse function except to fill a conventional gap. It's commonly occur to mark hesitation or to hold control of a few conversation while the speaker thinks what to say next. It's stated by Fatima on 2017. And Santos also stated that there filler is filler word is the example of filler word itself says Winnie already told us before, say and so on. And Santos in 2017 has two types of pauses or filler. The first one is silent pause, that the silent breaks between word and filler pause. The gap filled by such expression as or like that. Then the theory conducted by Ross in 1998 clarified filler pauses into two types: and lexical filler pause and lexicalized filler pause. Unlexicalized filler pause itself are non-lexical or non-pause used by a speaker to indicate hesitation while he or she thinks what next utterance to say, such as or and so on. While the lexicalized filler pause are filler in the form of words, short phrase such as well, yeah, you know, I mean, and etc. And then Stenstrom in 1994 that filler have 5 functions such as hesitating, empathizing, mitigating, editing term, and time creating devices. Hesitating itself are pauses that emerge in a utterance when a speaker is unsure how to use a certain word. I mean, such as when the speaker don't know how to say it. Sometimes we said that or her while we are thinking about how to say that word, a certain word. And the next one is empathizing, which is used as attention-getting device or empathizing to check whether or not the listener pay attention. The expressions such as well, you know, right, hey, and etc. The next pillar is mitigating device, which means to reduce utterance in order to hurt adverseness feeling as a solidarity makers and politeness device. And the next one is editing term, reform speech error in the speaker utterance. And the last one is time creating device to give some time for speaker to think about what to say next. The common use of this time creating device is lexical repetition. Okay, for next please. Okay, some previous study here is that Winnie already tell you how to say several previous studies, and I will add in this part the first one is from Fatima in 2017 on the study of filler use in classroom interaction. In her research, Fatima highlight that the types of lexicalized and unlexicalized and the function of that's a filler word. The finding indicate that the lecturer mostly use the lexicalized fillers while she is doing an interaction in the classroom. Meanwhile, the student mostly use unlexical fillers in the classroom. The function shows that the higher function used to by lecturer and student were the same as marked hesitation. And the next one is by Fitriani in 2021, studies filler word that integrated to the communicative competence theory indicate that different result from Fatima. The examine of the frequent filler word that was used by master student on their casual communication and found that dominant use of filler as empathizer indicate that students tend to use filler as attention getting a device. And the next one is from Aldausari conducted the study on investigating post-filler and its relationship between age and gender among British speakers. That age, gender are one of the how to say it, one of the factor that cause the use of filler itself. And then it's related to the study of Aprianti and Andin describe a kind of filler used by female and male, also cause factor in the reasoning of using filler in doing micro teaching. Okay, next. Okay, for the next is methodology will be presented by Aziza.
Okay, thank you, Mimi, for the time. So this is my part about methodology. Okay, there is a research design here. My group for this proposal will use the design qualitative research design, which is have been stated by Kothari in 2004. And this research will be used an approach of descriptive approach like that. Why we use this as our approach? Because this research will conduct in will be more describe will be more the activity will be more to describe the result like that. And so this is my this is our participant. The participant will be used is in undergraduate student in UM, while the student that is chosen is the second semester of reading subject, and the participant will be choose is 10 learners. So we think that 10 learners will be enough for our participant, because we don't need we can generalize that 10 learners to be our result later on. And the method and sources. The method will be used here is probability sampling technique, because we think that the participant use here is we want to have more accurate data, so we choose probability sampling, and this is stated by Creswell. We take this from the theory of Creswell, and our sources later on we conduct it through recording and interview. In analyzing the data from the recording itself, we will transcribing the recording. And after we conduct recording, we will directly interview the participants after they have presented their presentation on that meeting. Okay, that's the last part of me. We go to the next from the timetable.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Aziza. Timetable will be delivered by me. Okay, next. Okay, these are timetables. It started from week 6, and the activities identify the problem, and after that we making plan, and after that the next week it's we discuss, and after that we did consult to Mr. Nana, and then week is week 8, and today is week 8. We present our research plan or research proposal, and after that we doing a revision, and the next weeks we would like to take video recording data and interview, and the next week we take again data collection, and yes, time is up. Okay, you can see there, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie, Aziza, and also Mimi. So any question? Just one question, quick question.
Okay.
Silakan. Okay, Tanti.
Okay, thank you so much. So I just want to ask, why did you choose probability sampling techniques, since your design is actually qualitative, by using the qualitative approach, by using the descriptive qualitative design? I think it is unmatched, because probability sampling technique is usually used for the statistical and also for the generalization purposes. And referring to your research, it is actually strongly qualitative. I don't think that probability sampling technique is matched for your research. And also the purpose of generalizing. So actually we cannot do that in qualitative research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tanti, for the question. I actually have, I myself, actually have considered for this. As I read before, if I'm not mistaken, I have read that the research in the previous research, there is the research that talk about in conducting the research, they use probability technique sampling in order to make the data more accurate, so they directly choose the participant like that. Is that answer your question?
Maybe I can recommend you, I can give us a suggestion for you to have non-probability sampling techniques by using some criteria, so you have strong how to say that, strong foundation for having this research in qualitative like that.
Okay, thank you.
Tanti.
Okay, thank you, Tanti, Winnie, Mimi, and Wahyu. So I would like to ask Salsa, Ani, and Ifa to assess Mimi, Wahyu, and Winnie. Right. We still have another 3 other groups. Group 6, 7, and 8.
Group 7.
Anyone? Group 7. Okay, you want to try it? Okay. So with group 7, we have Nila, we have Riris, and we have Tanti. And I would like to ask NJ to assess Nila. Rania to assess Riris, and Sofa to assess Tanti. Okay, so group 7, you can start preparing your slides.
All right.
Perfect. Okay, you can start it when you are ready.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. So we are from the 7th group, which is consisted by Nila, Aisatul Husna, Riris Marisa, and also Tanti Nurhasana. And in this occasion, we would like to present our proposed mini research under the title of Rural Area Issues, Discovering English Pragmatic Norms Manifested in EFL Teachers' Beliefs and Practices in ELT. Next. So we have the table of contents here, which are including the discussion about the overview, and then the theoretical underpinnings, previous studies, methodology, and also the timetable. Next, we are moving on to the first one. So before talking about the objectives and research questions, we would like to present you about the background. Why are we interested in conducting the research? So actually, after having the critical review on previous studies, we know that there are a lot of pragmatics research in the ELT scope. Was actually conducted based on the assumption of the speech acts, politeness, apologizing, and also pragmatic in textbook as the textbook evaluation of the ELT practices. But unfortunately, we found that English pragmatic norms is actually under investigated. So it's not only because we have the spatial interest about the English pragmatic norms, but that is the fact that pragmatic norms is actually under investigated. Moreover, if we are integrated it with the ELT context. And after that, we would like to raise the novelty of this study, which is by putting the interest on the rural area, since we have access for that, and to make this research more interesting of this research by under the considerations when pragmatic norms actually, how to say that, require the teachers and also the students to know more about the target language norms, pragmatic norms. And it is actually a little bit challenging in the rural area, which has several from the terms of learners' motivation toward English and the comparison it between the urban and also the suburban, and also the socio-cultural status and also the environment. And then we are going to the decision to have the research under the teacher beliefs versus their ELT practices in classrooms, since somehow when they believe something, but sometimes they present it well in the practical, in the practices, in the ELT practices in their classroom. And also, yeah, we have the scope of the specialty on the EFL teachers in the rural area, dealing with the problems of ELT in the rural area, and also dealing with the urgency of the insertion of the English pragmatic norms itself in their EFL classroom. Okay, next. So after that, we are moving on to the research aims of the study. So actually, this research is conducted to discover the EFL teachers' beliefs and also practices on the insertion of English pragmatic norms in ELT classrooms in a rural area. Next, we are moving to the objectives of the study. So actually, we have two objectives. The first one is to discover the beliefs of the teachers and also to discover the practices on EFL teachers' beliefs about the insertion of the English pragmatic norms in their teaching practices in rural area classroom. Next, we are moving on to the next one, which is the questions. Also, we have two research questions. The first one is, what are the beliefs of the EFL teachers who teach English in a rural area toward the insertion of the English pragmatic norms in their classroom? And the second one, how do the EFL teachers who teach English in a rural area implement their beliefs toward the insertion of the English pragmatic norms in their classroom? Next. All right. Theoretical underpinning that will be presented by Riris. Riris, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. I would like to continue the presentation. Well, this is about the theoretical underpinnings of this future study. Well, we have two theoretical underpinnings. The first one is English pragmatic norms, and then the second one is English language teaching in rural areas. Okay, the first one is the English pragmatic norms. Actually, there are three experts. They are Ishihara and Cohen, 2010, Rizal, 2005, and also Kirkpatrick and McLellan, 2012. While Ishihara and Cohen explain about the pragmatic norms that refer to a range of tendencies or convention for pragmatic language use, they are not absolute or fixed, but they are typically or generally preferred in the second language community. And the second one, it's from Petzel, 2005. He maintained about the interactions in English as international language, how the importance of local culture and also environment incorporating with the interactions of English as international language. And then the third one is from Kirkpatrick and McLellan. This tell about a variety of word Englishes that are characterized by the frequent use of code mixing and code switching as an institutionalized second language variety in the sense of the use of pragmatic norms. Next. Next, please. Okay. Well, the second theoretical underpinning is ELT in rural areas. While the implementation of ELT or English language teaching in rural areas is a little bit different from the urban areas due to some reasons. Okay. The theories come from BETS, from UNESCO, and also from Darjowi Jojo. Firstly, BETS 2007 explained about the rural students. They are a little bit different with the students in the urban areas or in the urban school, because in rural areas, children usually they do not pass the rudiments of an education, or it can be said that usually they are low educated, not well educated, and then they have low proficiency or little skills and in education, including numeric, language, and so on, science, and so on. And then related to the UNESCO, this is what we underline as why we decide that this place is categorized as rural area, and also the students. There are some examples of the rural profile. They are distance to the towns, the topographic conditions of the routes, and etc. And then also the access to information technology, and so on and so on. And then based on Darjowi Jojo 2003, it is about teaching English in rural area. Here, the teacher need to understand the society's cultural aspects such as beliefs, values, and also linguistic backgrounds. Okay, thank you.
All right, the next one is actually previous studies, and for the first previous studies will be delivered by Mila Aisatul Husna. Mila, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Tanti. I'm sorry because in my place it's raining, so I'm sorry if my voice is unclear. Okay, let's move to the review studies. The first one is about pragmatics in ELT practices. The first review study conducted by Puspita and Amalia. This study is intended to look into EFL teachers' perspective on how to help students building their pragmatic competence. And then the
The study found that there are 5 teachers believe in constructive pragmatic competence for EFL learners. The first is teachers' experience as language learners, and then teaching experience, and then the third is teachers' own personality, and the fourth experiences from the school, parents, government, and local society that affect on their teachers' belief, and then the last is principle based on education or research. And then the second review study conducted by Lestari, this study is aimed to discover some issues regarding teaching pragmatics in Indonesian EFL classes and consider the potential solution. And the study found that the major difficulties of teaching pragmatic in Indonesian EFL classroom were there are several difficulties, right? There are inadequate authentic materials, and then insufficient meta-pragmatic explanations, and then negative pragmatic transfers, and the last is lack of interactional output practice, where the practice of interaction is done in the classroom, and less of interaction outside or beyond the classroom activities. And then the next is study conducted by Tajedin et al. This study investigates the use of first language pragmatic norms of non-native speakers in the EYL, English as international language context. And the study revealed that the flexibility is essential to EYL discourses, while most teachers felt non-native speakers communicatively aligned with the first language pragmatic norms when the need arises. Therefore, it's necessary to create a common language. Both native or non-native speakers can to gain the successful communications and also to negotiate the meaning. And then the next is ELT practices in the rural areas will be explained by Tanti.
Okay, there are 3 previous studies that we have brought to the proposal. So actually this is as the specification of the previous one. It's not only about the ELT, the pragmatics practices in the ELT in general, but also in the rural area. And first we have Frederick. So actually it talks about the constraint, about how the rural areas have the constraint related for conducting the pragmatics in their ELT. As you can see here, the gaps of the social pragmatics and cultural aspects between Western and academic culture, and the authentic rural situation in Lesotho, it's actually in South African, becomes the one that must be highlighted as the problems. And also for the second one is Renganatan, the constraint in Malaysia. So we bring the EFL context here. Actually, the constraint is on the local and negative perception, and you can read it by yourself regarding to the cruciality and the necessity of the English itself that have the impact on the practices of pragmatics in the ELT in the rural areas. And after that, the Asalihi and Bonsuk, the constraint in Thailand, inadequate teaching integration with Islamization, since in Thailand, in these specific areas, Islamizations from the from Malaysian citizens is actually strong, and they cannot meet the L1 and L2 cultural pragmatism in the ELT context. And next, for the one is actually we still have next. Yes, okay. We still have 2 about the EFLs. Regarding to the pragmatics in ALT. Yes, next, regarding to the beliefs. So actually for the first one is Sigi et al. Beliefs from the students and teachers struggles on the pragmatic teaching, learning due to the contextual issues, and also the practices. It's actually about the suggestion from the researcher itself that they need to bring the pragmatics with the adjustment of the sociocultural of the L1 and also L2. And next, and then we still have the Safido and Ekonomido Kogetsidis with the teacher's knowledge and familiarity with L2 pragmatics and then their beliefs following pragmatic instruction. And also, unfortunately, in the practices, they cannot optimize it because there is a big demands on the curriculum and insufficient resources from the government given to this institution. Next, we are going to the research methodology and will be presented by Mbak Riris.
Okay, I will continue the explanation because the time is limited. Okay, the research design is the qualitative case study, and then the participants will be 3 EFL teachers in 3 different vocational high schools in rural areas in Nganjuk, East Java Province, Indonesia. Okay, next.
Okay, next for the data collections, we employ, there are 2 data collection. The first one is semi-structured interview, and then recording the natural of teaching practices. And then the instrument is interview guideline regarding to the pragmatics norms. And then the next is audio recorder. And then for data analysis,
we have
Tanti.
thematic analysis by Brown and Clark 2006 for the framework for analyzing it, and also by using the framework of English pragmatic norms by Isyara and Cohen. Next, we are moving to the timetable. It's so clearly can be, all right, the last one.
All right, yeah, the last one is timetable. As you can see, we arrange several plan about research proposal. In week 7, we identify the problem and then making the outline and then consultation. In week 8, in week 8, now we present the research proposal, and in the week 9, we would like to develop the instrument and then doing the data that is recording part 1. And then the week 10, we would like to take the data, also recording part 2, and then do the interview. And then for the week 11, we would like to transcribe the data and also analyze the data. And for the week 12, we would like to write the research report, the first draft, and then doing the consultation. And then for the week 13, after having the revision, we would like to write the research report second draft, and then doing the consultation. And the last, in the week 14, we would like to have a final draft and also the submissions. Okay, and then the last is, okay, that's all for us. And there are several, there is the bibliography from our research proposal. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nila, Tanti, and Riris. So I would like to ask NJ, Rania, and Sofa to assess Nila, Riris, and Tanti. So there is no question and answer sessions for this presentation. So we still have 2 other groups, group 6 and group 8. Which group will come first?
Group 6.
Okay, group 6. So group 6, we have Nanang, Septi, and Zaki. And we would like to ask Novel, Lisa, and Yulan to assess Nanang, Septi, and Zaki. Okay, could you prepare your slide first? Okay, perfect. So you can start when you're ready.
Pak Nanang, I will try to share screen.
Sure.
Coba Pak Nanang keluar dulu untuk share screen.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 6. We will present our pragmatic research proposal under the title Investigating Politeness Strategies on Speech Act of Refusal Among Japanese Students. Okay, so for the Group 6, the member are me, Septira Mayanti, Panana, and Zaitun. Okay, the aim and objective of the study for the aim is to identify the types of politeness strategies and speech act of refusal in Japanese culture by focusing on the specific context of Japanese students. And for the objective, to examine politeness strategies used by Japanese students on speech act of refusal. And for the research question, we have one research question. Is what are politeness strategies used by Japanese students on speech act of refusal? Okay, here for the preview study. First, from Ramadhani et al. 2014, this analyzed Japanese refusal for Japanese students, compare male and female, and the result is the realization of Japanese indirect speech used by female established an indirect relation to politeness strategies and the culture of indirectness in Japanese. And the second preview study from Ratnawati 2018, most Japanese teachers use indirect strategies to refuse requests from other people. So Ratnawati is Ratnawati is focused on Japanese teachers. They use refuse requests from the Japanese teachers. And the next previous study, because our study is focused on the use of refusal on Japanese students, we also provide previous study about the use of refusal in students. This according to the previous study from Pengajaran 2009. Finding of the study so that participants use types of refusal, namely direct and indirect, while they elaborated formula of a jump. And the last from LDAX 2020, the results showed a clear preference for indirect strategies, a limited use of internal ones, and a minimal influence for gender and the teaching experience of the realization strategies. Okay, based on this previous study, the most of Japanese people use indirect strategies for refuse. But there is still some gap that the studies about the use of refuse, politeness strategy of the refuse used by Japanese people, which study in English, which is underexplored, and therefore we will explore in different contexts. It is in Japanese students which study English language. Okay, for the next is literature review will be explained by Zakia. Okay, Zakia.
Okay, thank you for giving the time. The next is literature review, and the first is there is a speech act based on Putri and Sitohan 2022. In delivering utterance, people do not only generate utterance containing words and grammatical structure, they apply action via utterance. In general, those actions applied via utterance in called speech act. So in delivering utterance, there is a pragmatic element that involves speaker and listening, or writer and reader to what is being said, such as examine meaning language based on the relationship between utterance and actions, something like that. And based on Austin 1962, speech act can be analyzed on the three levels. There are locutionary act, elocutionary act, and perlocutionary act. And for the locutionary act, it is an utterance which has social function in mind. So for the Elocutionary Act, it is suggest talking about the utterance that produce literal meaning, and for the Perlocutionary Act, it is an utterance that gives an effect to do something. Okay, next. Next. For the next is Refusal in Speech Act based on Ratnawati 2018. Refusal is manner of rejecting the speaker's request. So we can say that refusal here is the way of saying no to the speaker request. And based on Aziz 200, refusal is the act that shows one inability or unwillingness to perform the request for some reason, whether it is expected sincerely or not. And the last, based on BB et al., refusal is divided into subcategories. There are 3 here based on various communicative. There are direct, indirect, and adjunct of refusal. And the next is methodology will be explained more by Pak Nanang.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, for the methodology, our research design is descriptive qualitative research, and then the participants that are going to participating in our research is undergraduate students studying in English language department in the State Islamic University of Malang, or UIN, and then the participants are from the that's not the third, but the second and the 6th semester. So there are two different semester. The first one is the second, and the second one is 6th semester. And then the total of the participants are 10 students. And then the instruments, we will use discourse completion text, DCT, adapted from CODI 2021. Maybe our topic research is similar to the previous group, the first group presentation, but we have different participants that we have from the 2nd semester and also the 6th semester. And also the instruments, we have the similar instruments. And then it contains 12 scenarios requiring the respondents to provide refusal in writing to an equal number of offers, invitation, suggestion, and requests. There are 12 scenarios, 12 different scenarios, and we would like to ask them to respond to the scenarios. And then about the data analysis, the data is obtained from participants were code using framework adopted from RAN 2012, who adopted the widely used taxonomy of people et al. 1990. And then it was employed to analyze refusal speech act and the skill of politeness. We would like to analyze what refusal speech act that is used by the students, and also the skill of politeness, how far is the level of the politeness. That is the methodology for our research. Continue then to the timeline. Okay, the timeline, we start from the selecting research topic and settings, finding relevant literature, formulating research question, completing literature review. We have already done this. We continue to the next steps. Next. Yeah, we are now we are now in the 10th of March, that is proposal seminar. That is, we want to get the approval to conduct the research project. That is today. We present our proposal to you all, and then later on, if there is some comment or also critics, we would like to go to the next step. Next. That is revising our proposal to correct the proposal for the error and make it better. Our deadline is on the 15th of March 2023, and then we would like to conducting a pilot study before collecting the data. That is, we have the deadline on the 18th of March, And then the data collection will be on the 31st of March to get the data to be analyzed. And also after collecting the data, we are going to analyze the data that we have the deadline on the 15th April 2023. And then continue to the next. After analyzing the data, we would like to write the findings and the discussions that will be on the 29th of April. And then completing the first draft of paper, we have the deadline on the 2nd of May. After completing the first draft of paper or the rough draft, we would like to consult. And later on, if there is some revision, we would like to revise before we come to writing the final draft that is on the 10 May. And then after 10 May, we would like to submit for our final project in Pragmatics course. Okay, that is our research project timeline from our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very effective. We still have 5 minutes. If you have any question, please. Riris?
Okay. Okay, thank you for your explanation. I just want to ask about, is there any consideration of selecting the field of study and also the participants of the study? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. I would like to try to answer. We select the participants in UIN Malang because it is visible and also we have access to go there. And then we choose the second and also the 6th semester because now we are in the even semester. And then we want to see the speech act of refusal between those students, those Javan students, like what? Something like that. Okay.
Do you have the design of your TCT?
We are still preparing it, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. Any other questions?
Sir, I wanna make it clear about just now before we start the presentation. Sorry, sir, previously I wasn't asked you. I was referring to Pak Nanang mic member groups.
Oh, it's okay.
For letting me share the screen. I'm sorry, sir.
It's okay. We understand. It doesn't influence your grade. Don't worry too much. Anyway, any other question? No more question. I think that's enough. Thank you so much, everyone. So I would like to ask NJ to assess Nila, Rania. Wait, sorry. This is group 6. Sorry. I would like to ask Novel to assess Nanang, Lisa to assess Septi, and Yulan to assess Zaki. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. With that one, we will come to our last group presentation. There is a single presenter here, Fifi.
Yeah.
And
yes,
I will
sir.
I will just randomly select one of you to assess Fifi. So I think Nadia, are you there? Nadia is here.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yep. So are you able to assess Fifi's presentation?
Oh, okay.
Right. Thank you so much. So Fifi, you can prepare your presentation.
All right, sir.
Good. So we have our closing presentation from Fifi, and then Nadia will assess Fifi's presentation. Thank you so much. Yep, you can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Last but not least, since I'm solo fighter here, so I will explain my future research by myself. So my topic is politeness strategy and online communication of graduate classroom environment. Basically, it's quite similar with Yolanda, Novel, and Lisha's topic, but I will more focus on online communication of the master students and the lecturer as well. And then my objection or my purpose, the purpose of the research is to analyze the form of graduate lecturers and students' politeness strategies in English education graduate classroom environment, so that it answers the question or the research question that what are the forms of the lecturers and master students' politeness strategies in online communication. And about the research gap related to the previous studies, since the previous studies more focused on the undergraduate and secondary students, politeness strategy. So in present study, I will focus on the strategies used by lecturers and master students in online communication. Yeah, here is the research design for the subject, setting, and instrument. So I will observe and analyze. So it will be descriptive, qualitative study. And I will analyze the utterances produced by lecturers and students in WhatsApp and Telegram chat room. So I will copy paste all the utterances and I will analyze one by one for each politeness strategy that they state. And then the subject will be lecturers and 22 students of English language education at Universitas Negeri Malang, which this means this is our class. Our class will be the subject of the research. And all right, I will use Brown and Levison just like the previous group framework. I will use Brown and Levison 1987 framework as well, where I will define for each utterances whether it is group as built on record strategies, positive politeness strategies, negative politeness strategies, or of strategies with cyber pragmatic approach, which is an approach to analyze the utterances stated in online communication by use 2011, 2016, and Orzini Jones and Lee in 2018. And here, related to the cyber pragmatics. Cyber pragmatics is a study of internet-mediated communication. Like I said before, that I will analyze the utterances stated in online communication. So I do believe that cyber pragmatics approach is relevant to this study. And then for the Brown and Levison, I think it have been discussed in the previous group, so I will skip this one. And I do review some previous studies like Kusmanto and Widodo in 2022, Mahmud 2019, that focus on undergraduate students' utterances in online learning and classroom context that resulting or the finding is they are found positive politeness strategies in their communication. And another study which conducted by Heriawati et al. In 2019, it focused on the lecturers' utterances in classroom environment, and it resulted a positive politeness strategies in their findings. And then another context, it doesn't focus on the utterances by student, but for the last point I stated here, the studies conducted by Kuzevskaya 2019 and Meratna Sari et al. 2019. They analyzed the utterances in business English textbook, EFL textbook. So it's another context of communicating. And then Here they found both on record positive politeness, negative politeness, off record politeness. So the strategies is more variative because it has more data, it has more utterances in the textbook. And I review some previous studies in another context. It's not in education, but like strategies, politeness strategies in YouTube channels and comments, and how Rahadi in 2021, Indrasari et al. In 2023 analyze how emoticons as utterances in communication. And then for the timeline itself, I will start from the week 8 as the proposal. I state the proposal, and then week 9 and 11, I will collect the data. Week 12 and 13, I will analyze the data one by one and grouping them into the specific group of politeness strategies. And then for the week 14 to 15, there will be the result and revision. And then week 16 will be, I will have the final draft to be submitted for the the final project. All right. I think that's all for my future research proposal. Is there any question?
Okay, thank you so much. Any question? Any question? I will start with the questions. Why do you use Brown and Levinson's rather than newer, researchers?
Because when I read the previous studies, all the studies refer to the Brown and Levinson framework. So I think that's the relevance framework that match to the study, sir.
Okay, maybe we should try to, not bandwagoning, like following other researchers. Maybe you can also use other frameworks in addition to Brown and Levinson's, because their framework was too old. I think it was 1978 and then 1987. So there are two basically major publications on them. And unfortunately, after the publication in 1987, it seems like Levinson changed, his research area. So now he is more like on psycholinguistics, and then something related with the NLP and so on, something like that. So it was interesting, and then but then not really developed well after that 1987 publication. But then that was really good theory. I did use that one in my master degree, but then maybe it's already in 2023 and we should use other newer additional theories. Any other question? Okay, that's all. Thank you so much, Fifi.
All right, thank you for the suggestion, sir.
Yep, thank you. And Nadia, I'd like to ask Nadia's help to give assessments on Fifi's performance. Thank you so much. So just 5 minutes, I want to share something just to inform you related to what we will need to do after these sessions. Just a second, let me prepare it. I just sent the link to you all in our Telegram, and then I'm thinking that I should also just discuss it a little bit here. So making sure that you understand and can ask the question directly if you have any. So this is what we are planning to do. We did research proposal presentation today, and then I would like to ask you to submit your research proposal as well as your presentation on Tuesday, maximum Tuesday. So you still have like a 4-day to revise it if you want to. Just revise it if you're really willing to revise it, or if you think that it's already okay, then you just need to send it. The G form will be sent later on. And then the following things to do after this mid-exam is, there are two things. I select abstract submission and data collection and analysis. So I select abstract submissions first because this is more urgent and the deadline is coming. So later on, you can go to iselect.um.ac.id and then submit your abstract submissions, abstract there. So most of you have like 3 students in each group, and then one of you can be the leader for this team, each team, and then submit an abstract. So not all students need to submit an abstract, just 1 student per group would be fine. Submit an abstract, register your names, your members, and then select one of this topic. Most of your presentation would fall into the second category sub-themes: sustainable education in language, arts, and culture, or the third one, post-pandemic teaching and learning practices, or if it is more broader than more general, you can go with multilingualism and translanguaging. That will be fine. I want you all to submit your presentations to iSelect and present your paper in iSelect, because it is free for the students of UM and lecturers of UM, and so this is a good experience for you all. You will get something, including a chance to present your work, as well as your presentation, and then publication, and then certificates would be fine and would be better for you all if for example, you plan to apply for a job which require experience in presenting things. These are the list of presenters, main presenters for iSelect. And from our department, we propose Fahid Aryadust from NTU. So the conference will be in July 7 to 8. And then the conference fee for general people is 500,000 rupiah. And if you are UM student applying using your UM account, generally they will waive the price, so you are free. So you will save extra money with that one. So you do not need to pay anything. But then if you do not use your UM account, you will be charged. And then there are several options for publication. Teflin is journal published by Teflin and our department. And then it is indexed by Scopus. GBS is journal published by FS, Jurnal Bahasa and Seni, and it is in Sinta 2. This is a very prestigious level in Indonesia, Sinta 2. Sinta 1 is for all Scopus journal. Sinta 2 is generally high tier for that one. Or you can go for ESSN proceeding and Atlantis Press proceeding. So these 2 proceedings, one of them is free, ESSN proceeding, and another one you need to pay about 1,500 rupiah, 500,000, 1,500,000. So the deadline for quick review would be May 16. It would be around the end of our semester. So later on, you can submit your full paper. If you are targeting a journal, that will be fine. If you are targeting proceeding, there is a free option here, ESSN proceeding. I think Teflin is also free, but you need to check it again in their website. Not sure about GPS. Istihar is publication from a journal from Arabic department. GPTPP is from Pasca. So I would suggest Teflin, GBS, or ISSN for the free one. So have a look at this one. The notification of abstract submission would be ended by March 16. Now is March 10, so you still have 6 days later on. So go to the iSelect site and then learn the abstract submission requirement, and then register, and then submit your abstract before 16th of March. And then If you are accepted, congratulations. If you're not accepted, that will be fine. And after that, you can do your research and then submit your abstract. So after you submit your abstract, you can do your research. So expectedly that in 2 weeks, in 2 months time, you will be able to write a really brief research report for that one. So hopefully it is eligible for publications in proceeding. If you are expecting something larger from your publication, you can go for journal. So it is about 5,000, 6,000 words. Proceeding would be about 1,500 to 2,000 something. So the to-do list for us is, first you need to submit your abstract to iSelect by March 16. And then while doing so, you also consider potential publication. These are my recommendation list. For journal, go for Teflin or GBS or other journal. If you have channels, maybe outside web will be fine as well. And then the second one, you can go for iSelect Proceeding. ESSN Proceeding is free, while Atlantis Press Indexed Proceeding is pay. I mean, like it's not free, but then you will generally get more exposure if you pay for that one. That's all for what we have to do at the moment. So I know that you all are tired, so I will end this meeting very quickly. Just one question, if you have any. No question, thank you. I'm happy that you don't have any questions. If you have any questions, just drop it in Telegram. I'm happy to answer your any other questions related to it. Okay, Ridis, just one question. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot on camera, sir.
Yep.
My question is, do all the papers be published? Because as my experience, when I joined the ICE 2021, there were many papers that were not published. Thank you.
Okay. ICE 2021 is a large conference with more than 1,000 papers, because the Sekolah Pasca require all the students to submit papers, and then all PPG students to attend as a participants. So the PPG student, although they just joined as a participant, some of them also submit, and then so it's really large conference and not really ending happily because many students still having a problem with that one. iSelect is a smaller conference. Generally, they will accept the publications, especially for proceeding. Is that answering your question?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Well,
So
actually, I'm
iSelect
preparing
is a
for it.
smaller conference. Generally, they will accept your paper, but then we are not sure. It really depends on your abstract and your overall paper later on. But we will guide everything step by step later on. So do not worry too much at this point. Hey, good. Thank you so much, everyone. I think we should take just a group photo. Okay, someone can take a screenshot. I think we already take a lot of screenshot. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good weekend. See you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, sir.
Okay.